Welcome to my video blog. The question that I posed today is, can we get 1.25 billion Indians to bank? So there are a lot of problems that have propped up and the government has immediately come up with solutions. But how do we address the problem is the question. So the first thing that definitely needs to happen is educating and sensitizing both the educated and the uneducated. So the current scenario is people have to understand the problem and they have to realize that this is an amazing opportunity that the Prime Minister has given to us. This can be done through e-banking, mobile banking apps, and mobile payment solutions. And how are they doing this? They are informing us through advertisements on online and traditional media as well as social media. And there's always this tussle between government propaganda and opposition disclaimers. So moving forward, what are the kind of problems that arise? What commonly arises from all of this setting in? It's a reform. It's something that's going to set in, going to take a few months' time. It's taken us by surprise, in fact. But what are these problems? And the problems, in fact, are not just us. It's things like poor not having access or limited access to banks. It's things like unemployment, loss of life due to not being able to work, having limited access to cash and required facilities. So what needs to happen? We need to check on the knowledge gap. We need to reduce that, and we also need to tell all of us Indians that we need to start accepting the new currency. It's not that it's 2,000 rupees. It's not that it's just 500 rupees. It's also how are we going to eliminate things like numerous withdrawals? How are we going to move towards e-banking, electronic banking, procedures and methods? And what do we need to do to get industries, especially the cash-based ones, to adopt a more responsive banking approach? And how do we, as citizens, how do we stop unconsciously withdrawing and circulating money in our environment? So what has happened in the process is that banking has been much easier. It is hard, I can understand, sitting in queues, standing in queues, sitting in lines, and it's hard. But give it these 50 days, and the 50 days have lapsed. But give it a little bit of time, and I'm sure things like JAM, especially as what they're trying to do with Aadhaar, is by making these things actual social security. This will also pave way to pension schemes, and they need to work on understanding how Aadhaar works, both for companies as an entity and for individuals separately. So what is the framework? The framework of all entities will be taxed, except for, of course, the goods, which are primarily food grain. They will be exempt from GST. So what needs to happen? They need to go out there, the banks need to go out there, they need to connect with these industries. They need to tell them that they are on their side and they're going to help them, reduce these currency curbs. And that will in effect eliminate fear of being tracked and bring in a lot of compliance and audits. So how is this process going to happen? So banks need to register with companies, both with GST, happening this month for Karnataka, happened already last month for Goa and other states. And the use of POS machines, it's as simple as that. If Goa can go cashless, and why not India? And how does it work? A POS machine is going to be with your card, through mobile and through fingerprint recognition. And these, in fact, are paperless machines. They are, they send codes of transaction via SMS, and you also get any of these details can be immediately looked up through your passport, or informing your bank, or looking at it online through your statements via e-banking. So what needs to happen? We need to bridge this divide between the bankers and the traders. We need to, in effect, eliminate reduction in transaction sizes. What does that mean? That means, is the bank going to put in a lot of measures to reduce even the smallest of small payments when there's so many more transactions? Are they going to enforce all payments, invoices, and trade bills through an online mechanism, and that's not a question, that is actually happening. This will avoid penalties from discrepancies found by tax authorities. So, in effect, what's going to happen is they are tracking and they will, in effect, bring back black money. They're going to eradicate the evil of black money. And so, coming to this, I want to look at what happens in states like UP and Goa, where political parties have a currency crunch, unlike a political espionage that the central government seems to be giving to other states. Quite a run for their money, isn't it? But let's look at it. Congress and the others are branded as corrupt parties, and we need to broadly define what is black money. Is it a necessity or is it a social evil? So, conveniently, they have passed money bills, but at the same time, they brought in an ordinance for any politician, unlike us, to freely exchange all of their what they call hard-earned currency. So let's conclude by saying, can this, bringing all of us in the form of bringing 1.25 billion onto the grid, onto the banking system through Jan Dhan Andolan and JAM, Aadhaar, and through mobile banking systems, can this work for GST? Can we have Lokpal and other regulatory bodies review government spending? This will in fact reduce the spiraling costs and cut pilferage of money allocated at different levels. So what does this mean? This means is a massive pro for demonetization, and how we as youth can also involve ourselves in educating and telling the masses that this is something that is a great option for us to help you guys, and also to help in making this a successful process. This can be done by recording sessions, by having, say, Teach India campaigns, share this through mainstream media and social channels like this one on YouTube or on Snapchat. And so now all of this is vital. But the question still remains, how do we connect those digitally challenged, especially businesses, when all our transactions are being monitored through payment gateways to areas that don't even have electricity? So in effect, can the Indian government continue their reforms? Can they continue to surprise us and connect all of us, 1.25 billion, and make us proud Indians with a social security?